Welcome back to Just Driven. Today's video is a really cool video. I think you guys are going to love it. You know, this video is supposed to be about a very unique collaboration build between Dennis McCarthy and Just Driven. And if you guys don't know who Dennis McCarthy is, then where have you been? What rock have you guys been hiding under?
Dennis and those guys just kick ass. These are guys that actually live this stuff.
Dennis McCarthy and his crew of fabricators are responsible for pretty much all the cars you've seen in the entire franchise, starting with 3 all the way to 10. We were supposed to be talking about a project that was really near and dear to our heart. We kind of got sidetracked when he opened up the doors to his shop. It just kind of got crazy from there, so check this out. We're at Dennis's shop right now, and there's so much cool shit back here. I want to share it with you guys. Do you mind if we just look around a little bit?
Sure.
In there, I see a bunch of the later model chargers that you're using, or that it was used in Fast 10, right?
Yeah.
So, what in the heck, man? I see the later model Toretto charger. So, what are these cars?
So this is basically kind of our overflow storage garage at the moment. Things change, you know. If we're on a show where we've got 50 guys here, this will become actually a work zone. But right now, it's just parking. So this is basically a Nova from Fast 9. This is couple of chargers. Obviously, this one has the wrong wheels on it. When you say wrong wheels, I like the center line, so I kind of have played the car the last few films with center lines, and my theory on that was that Toretto Sr. had his street tires, which were the ones you see in Fast 1, and then he had his race tires, which were center lines. Because back in that era, center lines were kind of the cool go-to for a drag race wheel and tire combo. So this car here on top, this was basically just a something we put together very quickly for a flashback scene in Fast 9. The car below is another one we built for Fast 10. If you've seen the trailer, there's a sequence where Dom's actually teaching his son to drive. They're out there at Dodger Stadium just burning through tires. It was really a fun day.
Yeah. And that was what this car was used for?
That was one of those cars.
So what motors are in these? Are these LS
So
motors?
the top car has basically what looks like a true 426 Hemi, but it's actually 66 383. We bolted some Hemi heads on it, got the BDS blower, painted it up. It looks great because the car never had to run, so it was just lowering into the car. So that was it. The lower car is our typical 525 horse LS motor. So so like I said, it just it's good for burnout after burnout after burnout.
Yeah.
So
now these are what 69s and 70s, or are they just a hodgepodge?
Well, I mean they're both 70 appearing. I'd have to actually do a little digging to tell you what they are, but it could be a 68, 69, it could be a 70. You're running
out of cars. Isn't it getting hard to find cars now?
Yeah. Well, my buddy, there's a good friend of mine, Dave Salvaggio, that's been making carbon fiber bodies, and I think he's really at 90% scratch built. So there's just a few little areas that we need to work on to get created where we don't have to have a donor car, which is really just like the 8-door, the door hinge areas, some of the the rear trunk stuff, inner stuff. So, but it's very, very close. I think hopefully next time around the car will be a completely scratch built car. There'll be no original chargers.
That's amazing.
It's becoming a necessity because they're so hard to find, and when you do find them, they're so expensive. It's getting fairly ridiculous, So.
I know, we're realizing that too. It's insane.
Yeah.
I see Camaros. I see a bunch of 69 Camaros.
That's another film that we just finished. It's not quite wrapped yet, so we're hanging on all the cars just in case they're needed again. As usual in movie car fashion, there's one nice one, which I believe is the car in the rack. So this is a true big block, 4-speed, 12-bolt. This car is really like a car that you could drive every day if you wanted to.
Right.
And they kind of go downhill from there. Then there's like a semi-hero car that still looks good. It doesn't have all the bars in it. And then from there we go to the full stunt car, which like you've seen across the street. The car will have all the bars and the tubes behind the quarter panels, behind the fenders, and everything else.
Got it.
Then we have like a specific crash car, as well. So it's just there's kind of a chain. There was actually 6 of them total.
Well, you did an amazing job. You could see where the camera equipment bolts up to the bottom, or is that for pulling the car behind?
That's exactly for camera equipment. So that's all camera mount stuff.
Okay.
There's 2 in the front, 2 in the sides, 2 in the rear. Kind of the typical layout for.
I've seen that on a few cars we've done with you before. So
and these cars in the film, there's a lot of action. There's a lot of people in the car crawling all over the car. There's also stuff going on.
So you needed 6 of these, and you bought all convertibles. You didn't buy any coupes until.
Oh no, we cheated that too. So factory convertible. There was one other one that was a factory convertible. The other ones were hard tops that were
just cut the tops off.
We made our own convertibles. Yeah.
So this looks like might be a fast car. this looks like it's something you'd see in
Yeah, this is the brand new Z. We had these cars very early on for Fast 10. I think we had the first 2 that were in the country.
Are these pre-production Nissans, or we don't know?
I believe this one, I believe, is a pre-production car, and honestly, we didn't do that much to it, other than just change the wheels to some HREs.
Got it.
Up the tire size. We did actually lower the car slightly. I think this is one that we lowered. I think it was just like a 1-inch drop, very minimal. But that was about it. You know, I mean, the cars were pretty awesome right out of the box. This one is 10. In 10, it's actually wrapped green, so it wasn't this car, but this is the same car that was in 10. So.
Okay, so it just had a wrap on it.
Yep,
that's cool. This looks familiar. This thing's badass.
That falls in that one of my favorite ever builds right there from Hobbs and Shaw. So this was, I don't know, it's really, I refer to it as Shaw's rat rod because in the film he's blasting this thing around the
so cool.
the Hobbs compound, you know.
I remember. Did you build multiple versions of this, or is this
we
the only
didn't.
one?
So we started, the initial plan was to build multiple vehicles, and then we just, one, we ran out of time. 2, the sequence lessened enough where we thought, hey, we'll just get by with one, which we did. The car was pretty much unbreakable. You know,
that's fantastic.
Aired it out, jumped and everything else, and
that thing's sick.
What
motor's in this thing?
It's an LS3 Turbo 400, Curry 9-inch.
So you started from scratch and just put the body on it?
Yeah, the chassis was built by a friend of mine named Johnny Kaiser back in North Carolina.
Nice.
And then it was Johnny Miller here at my shop that basically built it from the chassis up. But like I said, it's race car quality. This is you could just tell. I mean, there's a lot of work put in your control arms. Go run this thing on a short course track. You could go run it, you know.
That's pretty sick.
Out in Barstow, you could pretty much, you know, put the thing through anything and it'll keep on going.
Dude, I mean, this car, this is insane. I mean, is this a real thing? Is this
that
really
car is 100% legit.
Mid-engine
powered? So that's a true Mopar, you know, over-the-counter, 800 horse, you know.
What transmission, what transaxle you
It's a Lamborghini 6-speed manual transaxle with an adapter plate to mate it up to the Mopar engine. So it's a pretty cool combination.
And you built all this here at your shop?
Frame rails and the body came from Speedcore, and then my guys did it all from there. Obviously got our, you know, our Brembo brakes that we use on every film.
This thing's insane. It looks longer.
It is longer. I always, I've said this before, but I always gripe that the Charger had too much front overhang from the tire forward.
You sure?
So I always cheated. Like even on Fast 10, I cheated a couple inches. I want to keep those cars looking a little more OE, but this car, I think I cheated at like 8 inches. You know, so I really
pushed it out,
stretched the wheelbase out. And I always like things as low as they can be. The car came out too low. That's the only snag with this car is I think the ride height is too low visually and practically, but due to the way it all laid out, and by the time we got the car on the ground, it was too late to make a change. But the CV axles were maxed out, so I couldn't really raise the ride height anymore. If you look at the stunt car versions, which I think we built 8 of them, that actually had an LS and a fiberglass Mopar engine in the back.
Right.
Those ones sit a little bit higher, just because, you know, like usual, Fast and Furious style, man. We're not always on smooth terrain, so they need to be able to take a little abuse.
That's crazy. Well, I love this car. This is so iconic. Is this something that just going to sit here?
It's really one of my favorites.
Yeah, this thing.
I love
insane.
The knockoffs. I was kind of going for like a '60s kind of Le Mans race car kind of a deal. You know, kind of like almost GT40ish, which is kind of where you get the mid-engine package from,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
And I love the knockoffs that HRE did for us.
Cool.
Yeah. No, it just turned out being a super cool car, and it was probably one of the fastest Chargers we've ever built.
Really.
And unfortunately, we always want to do like a track day like we did in the old days, but it seems like nowadays we're just
your window of time.
Yeah, it's just compressed so hard.
Yeah.
That,
and it's hard to get everything out there.
We usually paint them and load them, and they're on a plane going to location. But just making a few passes on Clybourne, I'll say it's the fastest Charger that we've ever created.
That's
Well, like I said, it's an 800 horsepower car with the motor in the middle, and it hooks up like you can't believe. I would assume on the racetrack it'd probably have a little bit of a push, issue, but maybe with some fine tuning you could work that out.
What size tires or what wheel size? How wide are they?
The wheels were 11s, and I want to say that tire is like a 345, 45, 18. I think is what it was.
That's just insane.
Top of my head.
It's one of my favorite cars. I love what you did with it. Now, I know you're an Impala guy. You've got an absolutely beautiful 66 yourself, right?
Yeah, well, thanks to you. I do, so yeah.
I mean, that car is sweet. And so this is in 10, right? Is this one of the
cars
in 10?
Correct, yeah. This is the Jason Momoa car from 10. It's very cool cars. I mean, I love the lines. To me, they kind of look like a big 66 Chevelle, so I just dig them. This particular car was more considered our stunt car.
Okay.
In the movie, you see it has massive, like 14.5 wide rear tires. This is the only car that we didn't put a narrow rear end on it. Because going into that story, We didn't know if it was going to be a straight line race or a windy road race. So we wanted to at least have one car that could actually make a right or a left-hand turn. So that was this car.
Got it. How does that work, Dennis? When you get the script, right, you look at your script notes and you see exactly how it's going to be used. How much time do you have to build the car to ensure that it's going to be suitable for
these cars,
script?
I want to say we had less than a month to build 5 Impalas.
That's crazy.
And the thing was, the car was really chosen before the location. So you're kind of building a car not knowing exactly what we're going to do with the car.
Okay.
You know. So anyways, but like I said, it all worked out great. And I'm glad the race was a straight line race because in my opinion, that's more fast and furious. You know, going back to the old school 4-car race, you know, which like I said, you've seen it in the trailer. And it's a great scene. I mean, it really is, I think it's a far more exciting.
I haven't seen 10 yet. So you saw the premiere.
I've seen. I haven't seen the premiere just because that's coming out, but I've seen just some screenings of it. But it's great. It came out amazing. And like I said, you can catch this race in the trailer, and it's at least a portion, but it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, and that's the other car I think in there, right? Because there's another one in there that's got a fully built cage. And
Correct.
That car is pretty
we
sick.
actually built a couple of kind of existing race cars instead of building a car from scratch. So
you did?
Just because our time frame, I wanted to find cars that were already narrow. Then we had to do one of them ourselves. We put a whole back half frame section in the thing and put the big tires on it. So
well, it's just amazing to me because I see all this stuff. I've been working with you for so many years now, and every time I come in here, it's sensory overload.
Yeah, I know. It's never,
I'm sure you get that from people
never a dull
here.
moment around here. That's for sure.
It's just mind-boggling to see what you guys pull out of here. So you got a pretty huge staff. I mean, every time I walk in here, and that's why I was a little worried. I'm like, God, I hope you could have the time. I don't want to be a thorn in your side.
I mean, right now, there's a strike going on, so the industry's overall slowed somewhat. So,
and that's still happening right now.
I have a feeling it's going to go for quite a while. Is my guess. So we'll see.
Slows you down, but you got a lot of facility here. And,
we do
a lot of projects.
Other than just features. We do all sorts of other stuff. We're doing commercials, TVs. We build cars that go to different countries for other purposes. So there's. So far, knock on wood, there's never a shortage of work. So
I can't believe all the new Mopar stuff on this side. I mean, you've got to have a really wonderful relationship with the guys over at Dodge. You have to.
For sure. No, they're great. We've been working together for, really since Fast 5, so it goes back quite a ways.
It's absolutely mind-boggling to see all these cars in here. These look brand new. I mean,
they are.
These are.
Yeah, these are all cars that have probably 500 miles on them. So.
Damn.
This is a true Hellcat 6-speed car. So this car was slated for 10. Letty went from a car to a bike. We're going to find a great spot for these in the next one. So that's why we're basically just kind of starting to go through all these now just to get them ready for.
Get them ready. Yeah.
Yep.
I see the gray ones too, and I see this one. This looks actually more like a Hero style car. Is this Charger right here one of the cars?
Yeah.
It was more.
Yeah. This was another one of another one of the cars that we built for Dodger Stadium.
Oh wow. Okay.
So this was another one of the Dodger Stadium. I'll call it Dodger Stadium burnout and donut car because that's.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away every time I come here. There's so much cool stuff. Is that a jump car? Is that what I'm seeing?
It was
right
like
there? That was the car from
the revised ramp car. We called it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just insane.
I don't know. The car had a couple different. It depends. Some people refer to it as a ramp car. Some people refer to it as a flip car because it would flip other cars.
Right. Okay.
Ramp car came because it basically looks like a big ramp.
Fascinating.
So this is I kind of modeled this off the Terrell F1 car from the back from the day when it had the dual front axles, or I won't say front axles, but dual front suspension basically, so 6 wheel. So that's kind of where the concept came from.
I mean, these are your ideas that you put on paper, and then you have engineers come in and kind of make it work, or you just kind of do it as you go.
Engineered all in house. So this was basically.
You go way back. Weren't you a high school? I read somewhere you were a high school shop instructor.
I was not really. That was one of those unplanned little side gigs I had there briefly, but just it's a long story. But I did do that for about 3 years, and a lot of those kids that were in my class or here in this shop today.
I was going to ask you that.
Like
That's
that kid
cool.
Brian Grody over there. Like he was one of my students back in '98. When I taught auto shop.
That's awesome.
A couple other kids, Logan Sigson, another kid. I mean, there's been a handful of them that have run through here.
That's
coincidentally we're doing construction, and the AC guy comes in to do my air conditioning, and he goes, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Dude, I was in your auto shop, man." I'm like, "It's awesome." So anyway,
that's so cool. How many years did you do that?
3.
That's fantastic.
I did that. I had a business in Burbank, which I had sold, and at the time I thought, I'm going to take a little vacation. And then, at a party, talking to a buddy of mine, and he said he was a previous auto shop teacher at Burbank High, which is where I went. coincidentally, and he said, man, they're really desperate. And I went down, I got a call Monday morning that, hey, we hear you're interested in a job, and it took me a minute to think, job, what job? But anyways, they said, can you come down and talk to us? I went down, and I walked down there, and it's just a full-blown interview, and I'm like wearing my shorts and my flip-flops as usual.
No way.
And they said, well, thank you for coming down, thank you for coming. I said, okay, great. And I went home, I go home, my phone's ringing, and it's like, yeah, we want you to come back, do paperwork, you're hired. I'm like, all right. So I basically became a school teacher before my wife got out of bed that morning. So it was great. I loved it. It was absolute blast. It's a shame now that program's been shut down.
Oh, is that right?
Because it was such a valuable program. I think it was, I think it's something that all schools should have. That schools should have welding, they should have auto shop, they should have machine shop, all the stuff they had when you and I were kids.
Yeah.
Is all pretty much
and it's hard getting
at least in California. It's a dying art, it seems like. But
well, it's a great story, and I don't think many people know that. And I love that about you, because
it was a good time.
It really talks a lot about your character, So because it's more than just the car stuff. It's passing the torch on to the next generation is the way I look at it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I got my 2 kids building a Chevelle right there in the background. So there's always.
I know your boys have been really involved in this business with you too, which is I find just fascinating, and I love the fact that they're part of it. They get to share all this stuff with you, which is amazing. I just love what you do here, and I just can't tell you, like I said, how much I appreciate you taking the time and doing this. Thank you. I know you're busy. Bro. You got a lot of stuff to do.
Man.
So
no worries.
Yeah, let's we'll stay in touch, and let me know if you need anything from me. We'll bring it down.
We'll get going on that H2 project.
Okay.
Awesome. I love the idea.
Thank you.
All right, man.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was so cool to be able to share this information with you guys. Dennis has been a really important part of our business because we share cars with each other all the time. A lot of cars that we've rented to the studios over the years. We've been working with the franchise for many years, and he's been a big part of this franchise. And to share all this behind the scenes stuff with you guys is really exciting for me. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. We read all the comments. Tell me what you think of this place. There's a lot more to see. Hopefully I'll be able to share more stuff with you guys in the future. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.